Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the SavSocial912 podcast. I'm your host, Missy, and I have Kyle Brown with me.
Hi, Missy. How you doing?
Good. I'm so happy that you came on the show. And we're going to talk about an event that you have coming up in June, the Dog Days Festival.
Dog Days Festival, the one and only.
The one and only. So this is actually your third year doing it. And I'm sure that you've learned a lot over the past 2 years. And I'm excited to hear kind of what the lineup is for this year and what the different venues are, all the ins and outs for the events. And anyone who hasn't been there can be informed. And buy tickets and go.
I'm here to let y'all know.
But let's warm up a little bit. You and I have been friends for a while. I obviously know you mostly from where you work at Savoy. And I think it was really cool when I found out that you have a whole other side of career.
Yeah, I kind of moonlight at Savoy. I mean, people mostly know me for bartending. But it kind of helps being working at a popular bar, and then also you just talk to people all the time about the
good
music
networking.
Yeah,
and I'm sure like everyone from Savoy is going to want to go.
Yes.
But I feel like in the course of us being friends, I don't really know much about your backstory leading up to coming to Savannah. So why don't you tell me and our listeners a little bit about
I'd love to tell you about it.
Right.
I grew up in Charleston. Family's from New York. And we kind of moved around. They basically settled in Charleston, did high school, and I went to college in Charleston as well. And during my senior year, I played in a couple bands, and one of my friends went to SCAD that I knew from high school, and I played a show in Savannah, and I liked it so much. I ended up moving to New York City, like we all do.
After you played at SCAD?
Yes, after I played in Savannah.
So wait, quick circa, when was this and where did you play?
Oh, we're getting age.
Because Savannah's so different now and like the music scene back then.
Okay,
like,
so
you don't have to give me an exact year.
No, I'll give you the exact year. It was like 2012 was when I graduated.
Okay.
And then I graduated college, and one of my bandmates was like, "I'm breaking up the band, but you should come with me and move to New York."
Got it.
And I was like, if I can get an internship, I'll do it. And so I found an internship. I went to college for grant writing, a nonprofit organization.
No way.
Yeah.
All right, I got to pick your brain about it. That's a whole new podcast.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
It's an angle that's
really cool.
I think I could pursue one day with Dog Days, but we'll get to that. And then I was in New York. Did the whole thing, ended up starting another band with this guy.
Where did you live in New York?
In Brooklyn.
Okay.
Where do I look like?
What was your borough in Brooklyn? Because I also lived in New York.
What was my neighborhood?
Yeah.
Come on, guess.
I don't know. I lived in Bushwick, which was nothing.
So did I.
Oh, okay. All right. We're all making it.
Yes, we did. I feel like it's a rite of passage.
It is.
It's the best place.
Yes. I think
for someone who's 21 going out,
if you can make it in Bushwick, you can make it anywhere.
I felt like I could make it in Bushwick, to be honest.
All right, so then you and your friend.
I decided I was about to turn 25. I was in like kind of an in and out relationship. My band, so this guy who made me move to New York, he rubbed people the wrong way, for lack of better words.
Right.
And every time the band would lose members, we would write a whole new set.
Okay.
And we were just like that. And I was kind of by his side. I was like, okay, let's write 10 new songs. And it was fun for a while. We did that, but after the third time of that happening, I was like, I believed in him, but I was kind of like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the friends I made in Savannah, I kind of kept in touch with. And there was this music festival called Savannah Stopover.
Right. And so that was for what's the big city?
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So it was a hub for New York City bands.
Right.
Traveling down the East Coast. And they basically kind of made it like, a pit stop to that. And they got some really big bands. One of the first times I partied in Savannah was I went down for, I saw this band called Mac DeMarco.
Okay.
Which everyone should know who he is. He's kind of like a huge indie star these days.
Okay. Hi, Mac DeMarco.
Hi, Mac DeMarco.
We will tag you.
Oh, if Mac DeMarco saw this, that'd be pretty cool.
All right.
He played at the Jinx. Rest in peace.
Oh, R.I.P.
And Stopover was known kind of how my conceptually Dog Days is you try to find bands before they explode, because that's how you get your clout.
Yeah.
And then that's how you get the drive for not only fans who want to come and see you, but also the bands. Like, it becomes a desirable place to be like, if we play Dog Days, like people, A&Rs, labels will have their eyes on them because they have a cool lineup.
Yeah, it's like a credibility builder.
Kind of a tastemaker. And I was like, Stopover is the shit. Like, that shit is awesome. And I kind of kept coming down for it. About to turn 25. Just started kind of bartending a bit, but I was like, man, like all my coworkers are 35, and they're like, it's cool. They live a cool life, but like I had a lot of credit card debt.
Yeah. Reality.
I had a lot of fun. I said yes to everything, which everyone should.
Yeah.
But I was like, 10 years is going to fly by, and I'm just going to be a bartender in Brooklyn.
Right.
Which,
I mean, they're called mixologists. There's a whole career.
I like to call them cocktailologists.
There's a whole career for that, but I totally get what you mean because, of
course, there's a carear. Like,
I think you were meant for bigger things.
I bartend and I take it very seriously, but I was looking for more in this life.
Yeah.
And I missed being a big fish in a slightly smaller pond.
Totally.
I was trying to kind of like, because New York is tough because you're a local band. You're still a New York band, but you're like, hey, Missy, you want to come see my band next Friday? And in your head, you're like, I have a party to go to.
Yeah, events to go to.
Rihanna's playing. The Knicks are playing.
Yep.
Like, name a million things.
Yep.
Or you could come see my silly band in some shitty bar in Bushwick.
And you got to take like an hour train because we live.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Because everyone who's cool lives in Manhattan. No, I totally get that. And I think that there is something about Savannah, like you say, being a big fish in a small pond, but like in some ways I was talking to people about how I feel like Savannah is becoming Brooklyn-esque.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I'd compare Charleston to Manhattan and Savannah's like a Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So I'm glad that you finally kind of made your way back because there are some cool ways to like, or cool things being said about establishing here. There's a lot of promise if you have a vision and want to like see it through. So anyway, all right. So you decided to move back to Savannah.
Yep.
Okay.
I decided to move back. I kind of made it a whim. My friend that was living here at the time, Lucas Carpenter, he was like, you should move down here. And I just like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
And I started working at this bar called the Florence, Hugh Atchison place.
Wait, wasn't the Florence out on Victory? Yeah, okay. I remember that.
I was working there, and then I heard about this place called El Rocco. The Hang Fire closed right when I got there.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
If I got one more scorpion punch.
Yeah, it was a legendary spot.
Yeah, but that was where a lot of the music scene was, like
Totally.
the Jinx and Hang Fire, I feel like were because we didn't have Barrel House back then.
Nope.
I forgot what it was called. It was called like Mercury Lounge.
Yep.
And then Venus Lounge was Rogue Wa- there was like bars before the
There's
ancient
so
bars.
much more to Savannah that like I feel like someone could write a really cool book about. Like a social club used to just be a pool hall. Like it used to be a billiards room.
Yeah, and the Rail used to be a furniture shop.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, Trina told us all about that.
I always, like, these things never stick, but I always kind of hear random stuff about that.
So Kyle, tell me about how being back in Savannah and working in the music scene led to your vision of the Dog Days Festival.
So I was talking about Savannah Stopover. While at Rocko, we used Savannah Stopover as a venue. So I got a relationship with Kane, and she brought me on to do some talent booking there. So she basically took care of like the headliners, and then I got to do kind of the smaller bands because I was getting pretty good at it.
Right.
I had a Rolodex of bands, and she thought I was informed. So that happened. The pandemic hit.
Right. Okay.
Everything comes to a halt.
2020 messes everything up.
My time at Rocko is over. I go a different direction.
Okay.
Stopover comes back. They try a different concept. For whatever, because of luck, because of bad weather, she does it once and then she takes a break. And I was getting to a point, and okay, let me kind of backtrack here.
Yes.
Right after the pandemic started, I was like, I'm still connected with all these bands and in the network, and I feel like I've started kind of creating more of a relationship with some of these agents and like music companies, because that's pretty important these days.
Yeah.
Where like, it's because you can email any band in the world, but they might not respond to you.
Yes.
And so when you kind of have a rapport with these big agencies, like when you're in, you're in.
Definitely.
So I felt like I was kind of almost there. I was like, well, I can't just give up on this. So I want to book shows, and I don't have to book at Rocko. I can kind of book them all wherever I want. And I was just kind of like, I need a name. I don't want to just do like, those are college shows. So I just came up with Dog Days. I'm not really sure why. Like I just kind of, I'm a guy who likes the summer, and I've always liked heat. And I used to grow up going to Bonnaroo as well.
Oh my God.
And maybe the Georgia thing was on the back of my mind.
Cooking at Bonnaroo. Yes. Yeah, I could see that.
So I just thought it flowed off the tongue, and like, yeah, go to a Dog Day show. And
I love it.
Yeah, so I had a buddy who was like a tattoo artist. He kind of came up with the first concept, started booking some shows, and then fast forward with stopover stuff. Dog Days I've started it. It's going pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like before the pandemic, it was hard to get people to come to shows.
Yes.
Post pandemic, it was kind of cool. It was like, oh, we like being like, whether it is people warmed up to the idea of like show, like we want to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
Maybe all that time inside was like
our social distancing.
Exactly.
Over it.
And I think because the first couple of shows were good, I think it inspired a lot of musicians to kind of get their act together.
Yeah.
And let's start a band because this thing is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so it became super easy because I was like, man, so many of my friends, everyone was in each other's bands. Like my friend Jalen was like, I mean, he still is, but then he was like playing like 4 bands a night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
Like he was in like 10 bands. Like I was in 3. Like my buddy Ryan was in 2. Like everyone was in so many bands because there's so much going on. But it got to the point where other people in the community, like I only book a certain type of genre. Like I don't book a lot of hip hop. I don't book a lot of hardcore. I don't like, I pick and choose. Like, yeah. Like I also any brand does.
I also think for people paying money for like a day pass, you want variety, but like, you know, me, myself, I don't think I'd enjoy like a, you know, hardcore.
Totally. And there are places for that, like Rockville in Florida. Exactly. It's like a hard rock fest. And then you have Ultra. Like, so like I was like, as much as I want to make people happy and book everybody, like I kind of got to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this circles back to your curating.
Yes.
It's, it's very niche.
It's very like, I want people like me in wherever they are in America or the world to be like, I like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like I trust this guy.
Yeah. Because you're not just curating like one show, you're curating an experience, like kind of a weekend experience for people. So that's where I love your different venues, because if you're not feeling a certain show, you can just show your wristband and go somewhere else.
Exactly. And I build the fest kind of in that way where like sometimes stacks of bands are similar to one another at the same show. So it's like this pair back to back are like indie pop bands.
Right.
And then while the other show is like harder, so or it's like country. So it's like you have 2 choices to make sometimes.
Was it always in like your original vision to have more than one venue going? Like were you trying to emulate Stopover?
So it is the Stopover concept in a way. And I guess I felt like a lot of bands and promoters were coming out of the woodwork. And I was booking local shows and getting some stuff, but I was like, I feel like a place in the scene here and locally and like regionally is me bringing bands to here. I think locals can create their own scenes and fan bases. And like, I didn't want to be the person to be like, it's 3 local bands on a bill, let's stamp Dog Days on it and let me take a cut of it.
Yeah.
And like say like that I feel like ethically that's not.
I think if this was like a one and done idea that you just wanted to put together, that totally makes sense. But I think like coming with your background and being like a part of the New York music scene, you kind of understand that like this wasn't just something you wanted to do once, it's something that you wanted to grow into. Something bigger.
And so I with Stopover like unclear, and I was like, I should give the music festival thing a crack. Like, why not? You only live once. And of course, like, if I didn't book bands that I liked that first year, I may have like just given up. But I fell into some cool bands. There's a Spanish band called Prison Affair who, they're kind of this weird, I don't know how to describe them. Like, kind of sound like Devo, but they like, all their songs are like really fast, but they're like fun. It's not like heavy.
Okay. That'll be good. That'll be good. You'll get people up.
Well, that was the first, the first year. Yeah. And that band, I mean, I was like, this Spanish band, maybe nobody's heard of them, maybe, but I like them. Right. And I know there's a couple of people that like them. And it turns out that like everyone in the Southeast loves them. Good. And it became this like whole thing. I booked them a whole tour, and it kind of just created like, oh, like this is serious. Flash forward to year 2, booked some bands. This guy called MJ Lenderman, who now he's having like a Kurt Cobain moment. Got it. Yes. Like he's literally like the indie darling of America, I feel. And I got lucky where I got to him early. Yeah. I made him like sign the contract early. Then their album that is really popular now wasn't out yet. And so it was just kind of this perfect thing where like he almost debuted this record at Dog Days.
That's so cool.
It was unreal.
Well, that also must be gratifying for you.
So, I mean, I just go with your gut always.
Yes. Go with your intuition for sure. So I guess rolling into my next question is like with this year, can you tell me a little bit about the bands and what to expect from the lineup? You don't have to like list everything, but
so every year I feel has had a different like kind of theme because like beggars can be choosy, and as much as I would love to book like the Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan, like
oh my god, I wish
that would be pretty cool. Neil Young, I'd really want to book Neil Young.
Okay, Neil Young next year, coming to Dog Days.
A boy can dream. I feel like the bands last year were like really shreddy, like a lot of like almost like 70s guitar. Yeah. Like a lot of solos, a lot of riffs. Yes. 70s, 80s style. This year feels more like female fronted punk music. Okay. The headliners are a band called Mannequin Pussy. Okay. Yeah. All right. That'll look good on a flyer. It's got a couple people by storm. I hear some people at Starland Yard who like to go there, which is where the main venue is. I've seen some necks breaking when they see the flyer for sure. But also people need to be exposed to that, or that's like. And they're a band that is having a pretty big moment right now. They're a band that started kind of like playing for almost a decade, and they just got bigger slowly and surely. And they finally kind of created their magnum opus, got great reviews. Now they're playing Letterman. They just debuted as the first musical guest on John Mulaney's show. Oh, wow. There's a show on like Apple TV that Steve Carell, and it's like an ongoing joke in the show that like one of the characters likes Mannequin Pussy. The newsroom? Or not the newsroom, the whatever, the one where they're news anchors? Okay. No, it's not that one. It's like a family or something. It's called like The Four. Okay. 4 Seasons. It's the 4 Seasons. That's Netflix. Okay. Yes. So, I do remember them mentioning that now. That's so funny. That's the band. Okay. All right. So y'all check out the 4 Seasons before Dog Days Festival. Yeah, well, check it. It's noted in there. Yes. So, it's Mannequin Pussy. The name can be alarming, and it's also like, I think it's very intentional for them to do it. They're trying to like make the word pussy less comfortable because it shouldn't be offensive. They're trying to, they're. Well, I also think that's good marketing because like that's kind of a name that you won't forget once you hear them. So in a way, yeah, totally. Yeah. So, well, that's very cool. So like, did you know them directly or did you just like reach out to book them? I'm not going to tell you my secrets. Okay. All right. We'll leave it to that. All right. So Mannequin Pussy is the first headliner that you're sharing. Are there any other bands you want to? There's this band called Geese. Geese are what we could talk about. Okay. They kind of sound like a Woodstock band, I would say. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So are they going to be playing at like which venue? So all the headliners and most of the action is at Starland Yard. Right. In the years past, we've only had the back lot, and you could be at like the front bar and like kind of get in for free there, just hang out at the bar, kind of listen to the music.
Yeah.
But it's gotten so big that Starland Yard has kind of given us the whole space.
Oh, that's great.
Really cool. So
yes.
you need a ticket to get into if you want to get into Dog Days Fest and into Starland Yard, you need a ticket. You can't be sneaking in, just getting the free ride.
Right.
And there's 2 stages now because of that.
Okay,
so,
at Starland Yard.
At Starland Yard.
Where's the second? Because the one was back in the way
in the very back.
Right.
Now there's going to be a stage right by the exit.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of like a bar stage, like
Very
by
cool.
those stairs that go up to like that second deck. So you're basically on that deck. You can look down, and there'll be a band. So it'll be like 3 to 3:30 here, 3:30 to 4, and it's just going to bounce back and forth the other day.
Okay.
Which is where a lot of the action will be. We're also doing some shows at what they're calling Lincoln Park.
Okay.
Which is the area between Over Yonder Mood Rights.
Oh, okay. Like that back.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little
area?
landing strip.
That's so
area.
cool.
Yeah.
So it's going to be outside.
It's going to be outside,
Okay.
but it'll be shaded. There's quite a bit of trees.
Yeah, but that's nice that you can walk to both.
Yes,
places.
and that's always the concept. We're trying to keep everything in the day in the Starland area, and then because of like noise restrictions and stuff, we'll move everything downtown at night.
Yes, so that's where it moves to El Rocco. Are they
El
involved this year?
Rocco and Bowl and Brew are the night venues.
Okay,
so you can be able to bounce between both.
Are you excited for Bowl and Brew to be like a new ad? Because
I mean, it's a new space. Everyone's been talking about. We need a new venue.
Is like
new venue.
Dying for good bands to come in because it has that whole stage set up. But are they going to like clear out some of the stuff so there's like more standing room?
Yeah, I think they have like pool tables and ping pong tables, but they can move those. It's pretty massive, and then you can still utilize the bowling lanes.
Yes.
If you are a VIP, you get to have a lane. And it's almost like having like bottle service or something.
Okay.
You get a server, you get a table.
So can you just like run through what the different like types of tickets are?
The weekend pass is definitely the way to go.
Okay.
In terms of it is a steal of a deal.
Okay.
Friday and Sunday are like 35 and 40. Saturday's the big day. There's like 25 bands. I would say 50% of the lineup is playing Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay.
it's nuts.
Lots of ground to cover.
A lot of ground to cover. It is like go all in, get to the shows early, stay late. There's so much good stuff to see. And that's $80 for that. But the weekend pass is $110.
Okay.
So like that's cheaper than buying 2 days.
Yeah, that's a really good deal actually.
Yeah. So and name a music festival that has over 40 bands that you can. That's basically $100. You know.
No, I think that when you lay it out like that makes perfect sense.
And it's
like
in town. You don't have to go anywhere. You
everything's
don't have to go
walkable.
to Bonnaroo or Chicago.
Yes.
And spend all this money on gas. It's
honestly, I still have PTSD from Bonnaroo. I feel like I got cooked last year when I went because it was just so hot.
Year?
Yeah, I went last year.
Man.
I got to see Chapel Rowan. It was so good.
Oh my God, amazing.
But yeah, it's so hard to be out there. And I will say, like from last year, going to Dog Days, at least there was some coverage. Y'all had some pop-up tents at Starland Yard. But I would say like make sure you drink enough water, bring some sunscreen or a fan because it does get hot.
It does. You need to be hydrated. Definitely sunscreen. It's basically all outside. So, but it's part of the fun because I feel like the bands and the fans are all like kind of surviving.
Yes.
So it kind of connects everything together.
Yeah, I think like you guys do a good job accommodating the circumstances. Like last year, my friends and I, like there were plenty of benches to sit under. There was coverage, but I just think that like if somebody's never been, just be prepared to kind of have some accoutrements, if you will.
Yes.
Great. So is there any like wrapping things up? Are there any lessons learned that you would want to share? Since this is like your 3rd year, I'm sure it's like expanded a lot. But I'm sure there were some things that you've learned along the way.
Any lessons learned? That's a good question.
I'm throwing you a curveball.
That is a curveball. I mean, I've gotten more, you just get more organized. You just, your knowledge of the game, like with anything, just expands.
Right.
You learn, the lesson that I'm learning still is asking for help.
Yeah.
There are people in your life that want to help, give some control away. I'm such a control freak.
Yeah.
And
especially when the stakes are high, that makes perfect sense because you want it to go to a T.
Yeah,
so.
you need to give responsibility to other people.
Yes, but you do have a great community of people and friends to do that. So are there volunteer options for dog days or just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We definitely need volunteers. And I think 2 short shifts get you a weekend pass and a t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not a lot of commitment.
So to any of my listeners who are interested in volunteering, how can they get a hold of you, or what's the best way?
So I'm on Instagram, Dog Days Presents. Website is the same, dogdayspresents.com. Dogdayspresents@gmail is where you can find me. And also my managing director page is Paige at dogdayspresents.com.
Okay, awesome. So I'll make sure we have some nice graphics that go up displaying that. So is there a deadline to reach out for that, or is there a deadline for tickets? I'm sure you can buy them like day of if you want.
Tickets, I mean, it's Savannah. People are buying to the very last minute. But this year is where like the way tickets are moving, it's way different than years past.
But can you buy tickets at the door? Is it all strictly online?
It just depends if it sells out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I think for everybody who wants to go see Dog Days Festival, try to buy your tickets online just so you don't have to deal with the shenanigans.
We ran some numbers, which is pretty interesting. 35% of attendees are out of towners. Mm-hmm. So this fest is bringing in like tourism from other places. And I think with the added like Mannequin Pussy and Geese and these bands, like people are coming. So better buy your tickets before all these people from Atlanta, Charleston, New York, before they beat you to it.
Yeah, man, I'm so proud of you, Kyle. I know it's not easy to put something like this together, but I just admire you a lot for having a vision for something, and now it's becoming like a staple of the summer events calendar, and like every year we're always looking forward to it. And like I'm excited to see what you do like in the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, I've always got some tricks up my sleeve. You know, the music is really fun, but we've got like some surprises, some production surprises, some art, some merch. There's always things that like we kind of leave till the last second.
I know we're like coming to a close, but I will say I admired last year. You had a lot of cool plants on the stage, and there was like artists who were able to like vend and whatnot.
And we have a screen that we put behind the bands, and we do some like live visual art. It's kind of hard to explain, but we've got some really funny things that we're gonna whip up at certain points. So it's also part of the show. You know, you see your favorite band and then you see something crazy going on in the background.
I love that. A mix of music and art and everything that makes Savannah great.
That's
so,
right.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on my show. Missy. It was a delight to have you. I hope you can come back on.
Have me back anytime.
Yay. Okay. Exciting. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the SavSocial912 podcast. Make sure you catch Dog Days Music Festival. That's happening starting June 13th. Goes to the 16th?
The 15th.
15th. Mm-hmm. 13th through the 6th, or 13th through the 5th.
13th through the 15th.
13th through the 15th. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and you stay social, Savannah. Bye.
See y'all later.